Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again, and we're going to do 3 of the monocolor commanders from the main set of Tarkir Dragonstorm this week, and we're going to kick off with Taigam, Master Opportunist, 1 and a blue for a 2/2 human monk. It has Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. Yeah, okay then. Now, there's a couple of things about this. I like casting 2 spells when playing mono blue, so it usually means you're getting somewhere. And this has Flurry. And yeah, do you know what's really disappointing though? There's only 2 cards. Well, let me rephrase that. There's only 2 mono blue cards that have Flurry. So obviously, Tagam's one of them. The other one is the one that produces birds that we'll get to in a minute. So this was a bit of a challenge because I thought I'd be nice and easy. We'll go through the set, we'll go through the commander decks, we'll go through the main set. There's bound to be lots of cards in mono blue that have Flurry. And there wasn't. So I had to put my thinking cap on. And I think I've come up with a way that makes Taigam unexpected. Let's put it that way. So here we go. Here's what today's deck really does look like. So, starting at the beginning, 2 Planeswalkers. We've got Jace Beleriand. They've got to have Party Jace in the deck if we're going to have any Jace in, so might as well have this one here. And then we've got the Arcane Strategist version as well, purely because the second card each turn we put a +1/+1 counter on a creature we control. That's fine. I can cope with drawing 2 cards a turn and helping us out that way, so that's fine. But then we've got the thought process, and the thought process is really going to be given away by the first card, which is Mockingbird. Mockingbird comes from Bloomborough, blue and X. You may have Mockingbird enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, mana value X or less. The amount of mana cast Mockingbird, except as a bird, and it has flying in addition to its other types. Gives you a really good way of where I'm going now, because basically what I'm trying to do is play as many copy effects for Taigam as we can, so that when I cast spells, we get multiple copies of them. Now, it's a bit difficult, obviously. Taigam's a legend, we're aware of that, but yeah, bear with me. Let me go through the deck. The time bugs in, just so we can take the time counters off the cards that get suspended. Then we have a load more copiers, so we have Phantasmal Image, we have Mirror Image, and then the other Flurry card that I mentioned at the start, whose name I couldn't remember, Wingblade Disciples, the only other one that's mono blue in the set that has Flurry. Does help out. Casting our second spell gives us birds. That's fine. We've got the Archmage Emeritus in here, so we can draw cards when we cast the instants of sorceries that are coming up. Then we have more copy effects with Clever Imposter and Clone. The original one had to have the original clone. If you're playing a copy deck, you've got to play the original baby. And then Clever Imposter. This one's even better. Enter the battlefield as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. So you can use this to copy your opponent's Soul Rings, Arcane Signets, so on and so forth. Or there may be a real good enchantment you think will help your deck out, and you can copy that. Eluge, the Shoreless Sea, is also in as well, just so we can put those flood counters around. And then we've got God Eternal Kefnet in as well, just so we can, whenever you reveal the first, you may reveal the first card you draw each turn. If you reveal an instant or sorcery this way, you can play it without this way. Copy that card, you may cast a copy, and the copy costs 2 less. So it seems good. And when this dies, it goes back in your libraries, unless it gets exiled. Oh no, even if it gets exiled, it goes back in. I forget it's the different gods. Sorry. Malleable Imposter is also coming in as well. Another one that flashes in. You get to have a copy of a creature on the battlefield an opponent controls, except it's a fairy shapeshifter in addition to its other types and has flying. So yeah, you can grab something best. Like I said, we went through a lot of the copy creatures. Ojapatic Deepest Epoch lets us have our instants gain a rebound. Phyrexian Metamorph, another one of the traditional copy creatures. And then the first one that really does help us out is Shakasima of 1,000 Faces, coming back in from Commander Legends. Copies anything, another creature we control, that's fine, except it has the abilities. But, and it is a but, it's the second line of text, well, the second paragraph of text, I should say, that's the important one for here. The legend rule does not apply to permanents you control. Makes a real big difference when you're playing this. I mean, Spark Double comes with it anyway, so Spark Double's a completely fine, acceptable way of copying Taigam. And then we have Stunt Double as well. But I will just, just go back a step. What I will point out, if you get Spark Double to copy Taigam, you can use any of the other clone effects to copy the Spark Double effect. I have tested it, it does work. Because the Spark Double is a non-legendary thing, it means you can get the Taigams that way if you can't get Shakasima out. So just bear that in mind. Sorry, probably talking to the converted, but anyway. Undercover Operative is also in to copy things and has shield counter, body double. If we need to get something out of our graveyard, I played this one as well, just in case we misclick when we're playing Taigam in Commander on MTGO. This gives us a way of still getting Taigam out if we can't get them out of the graveyard. Decker, the Fractal Theorist, also comes in, purely because I just wanted some way of generating some tokens, and this seems like a good one. Leah, Disciple of the Drowned, stops everyone's spells being cancelled. Nope, countered. And then all our instants of sorceries get flashback. Overlord of the Flood Pit, just so we can draw some cards and discard if we need to. Consecrated Sphinx is now one of the game changers list. It wasn't when I built this deck originally, so we may be 4 with this one. I can't remember how many game changers in the deck at the moment. But yeah, Consecrated Sphinx joined that lovely list of cards now, so fair enough, but we all know what it does. The Protege is in as well, so we can get the Cascade trigger on the go. And then Ancient Silver Dragon to make sure we can maximise our hand size. And the Hulking Metamorph coming in from Brothers War. You either got the cheap prototype version or you've got the really expensive 9 mana version. You're probably going to play for the prototype version a lot of the times, to be fair. Sorceries, we have 8. Preordain, Serum Visions, Fabricate is here for a very special reason. I mean, it can go and find a push Hulking Metamorph if you need it, or whichever the other one is, whose name I've completely forgotten now. You know the one, Metamorph, that's what I'm looking for. But there's another reason for this in here. Echo of Eons, just to do the whole shuffle everything back in if it goes pear-shaped. Then a little bit of fun with Mind's Desire, and then Seasonal Weaving, so we can return each non-land, each non-token permanent to its owner's hand. Choose an artifact or creature you control and create a copy. That's a token. Create a token that's a copy of it. Okay then. Time Spiral, just do the whole shuffling in and untapping lands when things go pear-shaped. And Clone Legion, one of the ways we're going to hopefully win the game is to basically cast this and nick everyone else's creatures so we all have copies of their creatures, which again seems like a plan to me. Instance Brainstorm, clock spinning, make sure you can do the buyback side of things. You want to do this, you can keep bringing it back to your hand and getting those time counters off the cards that have been suspended by Taigam. Opt, Repeal for a little bit of bounce effect. Counterspell, another game changer with Cyclonic Rift that had to be here. Mana Drain for a bit more control. And Think Twice just so we can draw the cards. Artifacts wise, a lot of ramp. Mox Amber, because we are playing legendary creatures, and turn 2, cast Taigam off lands, play this, we've got an extra mana going, we get the blue, that's fine. Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Farewell Stone, Mind Stone, Sapphire Medallion, Sky Diamond, you know the kind of level of ramp I play, and Thought Vessel. And then we hit the 5 reasons we've got Fabricate in the deck. First one, Mirror Box. Legend rule the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents we control. Legendary creatures we control get +1/+1, and each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. That was a lot of words, but anyway, yeah, gets us around the legend rule if we need to copy tag them. Second win condition, Aetherflux Reservoir. If we can get spells suspended, we're going to be casting spells, gaining life, and going that way. We should be able to build this up so we can get our 50 life quite happily. The Mirror Gallery is just a more expensive version of the Mirror Box. This is just 5 straight mana, and the legend rule doesn't apply. We had to play both because we need to make sure we can get Taigam going and the copies going. The Throne of Eldraine is also in as well, just to give us that mana bump. Basically, this costs us 1 mana when we can get up to 5. If that makes sense, you choose blue and then you can tap it for 4 straight away. Fine by me. And then Aetherflux Conduit, the other one that we're playing, the other Aetherflux card. Hopefully, we can get to 50 energy quite happily and draw 7 cards. And then we may cast any number of spells from our hand without paying their mana cost. Now, there is one card in the deck that I had in originally. I think it's worth pointing out. I had an Omniscience in here originally. If any of you have looked at the deck list before I've done this video, you'll have probably seen Omniscience is now vanished. I was play testing this. You can, as you know, on MTGO, you can just set a game up to play against yourself. That's fine. And I realised you can't, doesn't work. You have to spend the mana to get the energy, and I boo-boo. So I've taken out Omniscience, and I've kept the Aetherflux Conduit in. My mistake, didn't want to do it on the video, so I'm glad I'm just pointing it out. But just in case anyone else is thinking it, yeah, doesn't quite work as we all feel, as I originally read it would. Maybe it's just me being an idiot, but hey, who knows. Enchantments. Mirror Aid. Copy of any artifact or enchantment on the battlefield. That's fine. It's just another cheap way of copying someone's lovely Sol Ring. We have got Rhystic Study in the deck. I think that's the third one of the list cards. So that's here anyway. But plain mono blue, I had to be here. The Court of the Vantress lets us have a token copy of an enchantment or a artifact if we're the monarch, or at the beginning of our upkeep, if we're not the monarch, we get to make this into one of them. So okay then, because we need to back everything up, Shark Typhoon's here just to give us some sharks that fly that we can attack with. Storm of Saruman makes an appearance because we are interested in doing 2 spells, and whenever we cast our second spell, you may copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. Now, this is quite interesting. If we do something like Opt, and we've got Taigam in the wonderfulness that is our command zone, if we can then play Taigam again as a second spell, we'll still get 2 Taigamans. This does help us do the copying side of things, so it does work out quite nicely because it's not legendary. And finally, Mind's Dilation, because who doesn't like playing with your opponent's cards when you can get the opportunity to do so? Lands, fairly straightforward really with this one. Broker's Hideout, Castle Vantress, Flooded Strand, Islands, the Theatre, the Misty Rainforest, Obscura Storefront, the other sack lands that go for blue. I have avoided Nykthos for a change, but you could quite easily chuck Nykthos in this deck. I was a bit worried about tying it up. It may be something else that I change eventually, so we'll see. It might go down to 27 islands and a Nykthos. If you're looking at this after I recorded it and I've played it a bit more, you might see the change in the deck list. But at the moment, as I record this video, we're going with this layout. And yeah, that's it really. I think Taigaman's got real potential, and I love the idea of being able to do multiple copies of him in play and just playing some of our spells out and getting copies of it. Yeah, like I say, the playtesting went well. I'm looking forward to trying it on stream. That will be happening at some stage this week whenever we stream. So, you know, follow me down below on Twitch. You'll hit that little notification thing so you know when I go live, you can come see me play it. Thank you also to everyone who's here on YouTube. There's 665 of you now subscribed as I record this one, so the more the merrier. Please, if you can, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with probably one of the more simple decks that I've done so far from the new set. But for now, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I've missed out. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.